2009 ban of Hungarian President from Slovakia. Hungarian President László Sólyom was not allowed to step on Slovak soil on August 21, 2009, as he was about to attend the unveiling of a statue of Saint Stephen, the first king of Hungary 1038, in Komárno, Slovakia. Hungarian Révkomárom, a town near the Hungarian border, where ethnic Hungarians. The only official reason given for the denial was that the Hungarian president's visit might have constituted a security risk. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico had claimed that police would be unable to prevent Slovak extremist groups from disturbing the ceremony. In the 2 days preceding the visit, Slovakia had raised 4 other objections to the planned trip. The ceremony might suggest a claim of Hungarian sovereignty over Slovak soil. Slovakia was informed late about the visit. The date of the visit fell 1 day after the Hungarian national holiday commemorating Saint Stephen and coincided with the Warsaw Pact invasion of Czechoslovakia. Slovak leaders were not invited, nor did the president have plans to meet with them, declaring the Hungarian head of state an unwelcome person, essentially persona non grata, although this term was not used, created additional diplomatic conflict in already tense Hungary-Slovakia relations. Purpose of the planned visit. László Sólyom was invited by a civic association, Szent István Szabor Bizottság Saint Stephen Statue Committee, to a statue unveiling ceremony in Komárno, Slovakia. Hungarian Révkomárom. Both the Catholic and the Orthodox churches regard King Stephen as a saint for his role in converting the peoples of his kingdom to Christianity. Pope Gregory Roman VII canonized him, his son and a bishop, August 20, 1083. The day of the canonization is a public holiday in Hungary, regarded as the foundation of Hungarian statehood. In his admonitions to his son, he declared, as cited in the planned speech of Sólyom, for the unveiling, "A kingdom with only one language and having only one custom is weak and frail." The Komárno statue was due to be unveiled on the day after this anniversary, that is, on August 21, 2009. The erection of the statue itself was criticized in February 2009 by the extremist and nationalist Slovak National Party SNS, one of the parties in Slovakia's governing coalition, because the town had not erected statues of Saints Cyril and Methodius, 2 Byzantine Greek missionaries among the Slavic peoples of Great Moravia and Pannonia. The statue was consequently placed only on the balcony of the Matica Slovenska, a cultural and scientific institution focusing on Slovakia-related topics. Objections of Slovakia against the visit. Security risk. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico said on August 19 that he could not prevent Sólyom from entering the country and sent a letter to the Hungarian embassy warning of potential security risks, saying that his Direction Social Democracy Party government would not prevent extremists of the nationalist Slovenska Pospolitost Slovak Brotherhood from going there to demonstrate. "We will not check the Slovak Republic, and we cannot know whether someone will try to use the visit of the president in Komárno in some sensitive questions." According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Hungary, there were no real security risks involved around the ceremony. There was only a small number of protesters at the location of the ceremony, which the Slovak police were by the usual means of the police able to keep under control. Date. Late notification. Stressing Hungarian statehood in inappropriate circumstances. The 3 main leaders of Slovakia, Ivan Gasparovic, President of the Republic, Robert Fico, Prime Minister, and Pavel Paska, Chairman of the Parliament, stated in a common declaration that the visit is a deliberate provocation against Slovakia. The President, the Chairman of Parliament, and the Prime Minister of Slovakia have condemned the circumstances in which the Hungarian President chose to stress Hungarian statehood on sovereign Slovak soil. He will want to show, "It is an area where we, meaning the Hungarians, are the lords, and we will decide about our things." What Hungary, especially through their president, does in the recent days and months is very dangerous. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Hungary noted, "Hungary respects the sovereignty and territorial integrity of other countries. It considers important to have an unobstructed contact with each other's minorities. Hungary sees, with the Slovak step, the freedom of speech, one of the fundamental political rights, has also been violated. No plans of meeting Slovak leaders. Slovaks have criticized Sólyom for not inviting Slovak leaders to the ceremony or meeting them somewhere else, even though Sólyom was not the organizer of the ceremony, as it was organized by the town of Komárno. Previously, the Slovak diplomacy informed the Hungarian diplomacy that Ivan Gasparovic, Slovak head of state, will be on vacation on the day of the visit. Gasparovic declared earlier that he would only accept any invitations if the town also erects statues about Saints Cyril and Methodius. Neither Gasparovic nor Fico distanced themselves from government party leader Jan Slota for his earlier comments disparaging Saint Stephen, the king portrayed by the Komárno statue, as a clown on a horse. Fico made further attacks on Saint Stephen and also said Slovaks should not consider him as their king. Timeline of events. June 19. On June 19, László Sólyom met the new ambassador of Slovakia to Hungary, Peter Weiss. On this meeting, Sólyom informed Weiss about the planned ceremony he was invited to, and that he intends to go there. August 13. On August 13, the bilateral technical preparations to the ceremony began. August 19. 2 days before the planned visit, on August 19, the Committee of Foreign Affairs of the Slovak Parliament called the trip a diplomatic provocation because of the date August 21, anniversary of the Warsaw Pact invasion of Czechoslovakia. Ivan Gasparovic, president of the Slovak Republic, called the visit an inconsiderate decision, stating to the press that he is not surprised because he knows Sólyom likes to prowl around in the countries that are in the area of the Preminus 1920 Kingdom of Hungary. Back then, Fico said they cannot and will not prevent Sólyom from entering the country. August 20. On August 20, Miroslav Lajčák, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Slovakia, officially informed Antal Hezer, ambassador of Hungary in Bratislava, that László Sólyom is not recommended to cross the border on the next day. He also called Peter Balázs, Hungarian Minister of Foreign Affairs, on the phone about the issue. We have reasons to think that this visit will harm the Slovak-Hungarian relations. If László Sólyom would not like this to happen, then the visit will not take place. August 21. On Friday, August 21, Ivan Gasparovic, president of the Slovak Republic, asked László Sólyom to think over the visit. I'd be glad if Sólyom took this message very seriously. He said if despite the message Sólyom decides to visit the unveiling, Slovak authorities must do everything to protect him. László Sólyom sent a message to Gasparovic in which he indicated that he maintains his intentions about unveiling the statue. He wrote in the message that he informed Slovakia in time and no objections have been raised earlier about the date. He also made clear that he already expressed his regret about the aggression against Czechoslovakia in a public speech on the 40th anniversary in 2008. Denial of entry. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico announced in the afternoon, hours before the unveiling, that Sólyom will be not allowed to enter the territory of Slovakia. The document stating this was sent to the Hungarian embassy in Bratislava. The private trip, with a planned public speech, is considered a provocation, and in such circumstances, the Hungarian president is an unwelcome person in Slovakia on August 21. Fico also told the press that Slovak authorities would not prevent the president from crossing the border by physical force, but they will consider it as a serious provocation if he still enters Slovakia. Miroslav Lajčák, Slovak Minister of Foreign Affairs, said the relations of Hungary and Slovakia have already been harmed by this issue. On the border, Jan Paka, executive of the police of Slovakia, and a great number of policemen were waiting. President Sólyom did not enter Slovakia after the embassy received a document stating that Sólyom is refused entry into Slovakia. In consideration of the risk to security, the responsible bodies of the Slovak Republic, under Directive 2004/38/EC dated 29 April of the European Parliament and the European Council, as well as Act 48/2002 of the National Council of the Slovak Republic on the presence of foreigners and its. He walked to the middle of the bridge over the Danube leading from Hungarian Komárno to Slovak Komárno and held a press conference about the events on the Hungarian side of the border. He stated, "I turn back because they cannot rouse me into a deliberate law infringement as I am a lawyer and a head of state. However, I hope the people of Komárno will remember this visit in their hearts and that I will come back. In a relation of two allied states, this step is unexplainable and inexplicable, with particular attention to the given reason of the ban stating that my presence constitutes ceremony in absence of Sólyom." The news stating that Sólyom is not allowed to enter Slovakia was received with loud whistling among the gathered 2,000–3,000 people on the square where the statue was about to be unveiled. The speeches before the unveiling were about the needed cooperation and encouraged peace between the two countries, which was received with applause by the mainly Hungarian celebrators. A few Slovak protesters attended the ceremony, with signs saying, among others, "Sólyom, go home." Antal Hezer, ambassador of Hungary in Bratislava, read the planned ceremonial speech of László Sólyom to the crowd. Hungarian politicians of Slovakia took part in the ceremony, among others the mayor of the town, Tibor Bastanak. Reactions of the Hungarian diplomacy. Legal disputes, 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 disputes. According to Peter Ballas, the ban was not lawful, because the already given international permissions haven't been withdrawn, and so the embassy just got an unfriendly document, which would in theory have allowed Sólyom to enter Slovakia. He also said the Slovak diplomacy has turned international law upside down by leaving the international permissions while banning Sólyom personally as a civilian. He stated that Hungary plans to inform the EU and a broader international public about this rude political action. Legality confirmed. On 6 March 2012, Advocate General at the European Court of Justice Yves Bott gave an opinion on the legality of the ban. He concluded that the visit was not a private but an official one, and as such was not covered by the free movement provisions of the EU law. Diplomatic relations are governed exclusively by the member states and follow the international law under which visits by the heads of states depend on the consent of the host state. The court, dismissing the action brought by Hungary, followed the general line of reasoning of the Advocate General. Media coverage. Slovakia. In the Slovak press, the opinions were divided about the move of the Slovak government. Those sympathizing with the government have generally agreed with the move. Danis of Pravda wrote, "The trip of Hungarian President to Komárno has failed miserably, for Hungary and Slovakia as well. The only one responsible for it, however, is Sólyom. He could have missed out on this diplomatic mess-up, provided he hadn't been stubborn and arrogant." More liberal and less pro-government papers have also condemned the Slovak reaction, not only Sólyom. As Peter Morvay of SME wrote, "Insinuations about deliberate provocation from beyond Danube, i.e. Hungary, is just plain nonsense. Even Hungarian infatuation doesn't justify such an excessive reaction from Fico and company, unheard of in civilized parts of Europe. Can anyone take it seriously that our successors of communism, i.e. the governing coalition led by the one Fico, who most of these media empires are regularly accused of being the sole advocates of the opposition, fueled mostly by the Prime Minister's attacks on the media? Yet numerous members of the opposition have agreed with the ban. Mikuláš Dzserinda, president of the leading opposition party SDKU, has been quoted to say that Sólyom is instigating conflicts. Pavel Bran, member of the opposite KDH, has suggested that a diplomatic note should be sent to Hungary. Czech Republic. The Czech media was amongst the first comment on the topic, blaming both sides for the situation that arose. Mlada Frontadinesk, Columnist Magdalena Sodomkova wrote, "It was not only the provocateur Sólyom who acted tragicomically. The actions of the Slovak politicians are embarrassing as well, with all heart connecting the celebrations of a foreign, but still holy King Stephen I with the anniversary of the occupation of the Warsaw Pact is a bit far-fetched." Another daily, "If we, i.e. the Czechs, would interpret history the same way as today's rulers of Slovakia, then we'd have to rename Charles Bridge and also Rudolfinum, which bears the name of the successor to the oppressing Austrian throne."